Okay, so magnetising Pusgoyle Blightlord riders onto their flies. I've done this before, as we can see, but I didn't properly document it all. I want to make a proper video about it. I haven't seen a single one by any else for doing this particular thing, so I thought as I've done it, I'm going to try and put it out there. So step one, I've got my one out to copy it from. I shouldn't have put the wings on yet. Last time I didn't put the wings on first, but this time I got carried away and needed for a game tomorrow and put the wings on. But so it would be easier without it. However, so step one is the ones with the void like that. You don't want to use so much green stuff. I'll show you what it looks like when you're done. Enough green stuff to fill that. So what I do is I fill it with sprue, just little chunks of sprue. And some plastic glue. Don't want anything rattling around in there, so that'll kind of melt that into position. So you go ahead and get them done, and then there's another step which is a bit different for this guy. You actually have to mill out a whole bunch of space for him for the magnet to go under there. So we'll do that next. Okay, so step two, while I'm waiting for some of this sprue glue to dry, I don't have the ability to film myself while I do this, unfortunately, because it's a two-handed job, but basically what I did was I started with a milling bit, like this, in a Dremel, and then I milled it out there. It doesn't need to be perfect, because it's going to be covered up, and I will centre the magnet with the green stuff, but I'll probably mill out a bit more of this side. And then I use this sort of sanding milling bit thing, and then just smooth it out. Then the magnet, which I've marked the polarity on so I know that I can get them all the same, will go in there like that. And then I'll secure it in with some green stuff and maybe some glue if needs be. Now to start on the other side, because this guy, unlike the other ones, is not hollow, he's solid. So I just need to mill out the front here to fit so that it is like the other guy that I have already done some time ago, like that. So there's quite a bit of stuff to mill out. That one is just super glued in, actually, because there was no room to use any green stuff, and it was actually quite difficult to mill out. So away we go. Right, then you just basically go around and repeat the process on all the other ones. I'll give you a quick look at this one over here. So you can see there that I've milled all out. I blew through a little bit there, but that doesn't matter because you won't be able to see it from the other side. It'll have a bit of green stuff on it, and then it'll get base coated. But yeah, you do have to be careful of that. But it'll be fine. I'll clean it all up. So that was that done. Go through, get all those done, and then you can start doing the green stuff. And then from there, it should go fairly smoothly, hopefully. As we're on the subject of Pusgoyle Blightlords, reinforce them. And basically, these ones with the bell will break on you. So I have reinforced them before, but I had to do it after it was all painted. It was a bit of a pain, to be honest. So what we've got there is a copper rod running up through there, a 1mm copper rod running up through the bottom. It's pushed. I cut it to a point and pushed it right up into the mouth. Added a bit of super glue, and then trimmed it off down the bottom. So it's secured in with a bit of green stuff down the bottom, and then embellished with green stuff, which will eventually look like that. It's like a slime or a bile or something like that going into the fetid swamps from which they came. So and I've also drilled up through the bottom of the bell. You can kind of see a copper rod in there, right up into the top of the bell to help secure that. This one here, when it broke at the bell, I actually had to drill up into the chain and take the top of the bell off, and yeah, do quite a lot of work there. So I'm trying to prevent them breaking like that again, and you don't have to do it this way, but I would recommend some kind of reinforcement, because like I said, the ones with the bell will break. Knock on wood, haven't had any such issue with these other ones on the rock, but again, if you need to, you can just reinforce them a similar way. Yeah, there we go. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to get the bottom magnets in all of them at the same time. So we can see from this one and that one, we know exactly where the magnet needs to be, kind of angle it needs to be on. And if we can give the green stuff some drying time and the super glue some drying time, it makes it a lot easier to get the other one in, because you kind of have to test fit them, but they will pull free. So if you can preferably only have it pull free on one side, that is better, and then you can just go back and fix it. You'll have an indentation of exactly where it needs to be, but I'll show you all that when we get to it. Right, so we've got most of them done now, got one to go, but as you go you just want to test fit everything, so just making sure that everything fits flush and smoothly, because the green stuff will get in and around some of the joints. You might have to clear it out, so once you know, it's kind of hard to do one-handed. Once you know it fits flush and smoothly, you can take the rider off and give that a bit of time to cure, and then we can start positioning the other magnets. This one here I'll probably have to glue in because this is quite a shallow one, but we can start positioning the other magnets and test them. Got to test them real quick, otherwise you will pull this out. It's kind of tricky, you've got to get that balance right, but yeah, let's see how we go. Okay, so marking out where you need the magnet to be inside your Pusgoyle Blightlord that rides the fly here. So what I've done is I've marked the polarity, probably kind of not really that necessary because it's going to do that. And we do risk pulling this out here, so after we've marked where we want it to be, we're going to slide this off rather than try and pull it off the top, because if we pull it off the top we're going to reposition stuff, and if we slide it off the front we should be okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take him and we're going to press him down into that, and then we'll be able to see whether we need to remove any green stuff, and we'll be able to see exactly where the magnet needs to sit. We can then slide the magnet off, put it in, and then mould the other green stuff around it, give it a quick test fit, and then try and get it off without everything coming out. So, and then you just basically repeat the process, apart from this one over here, which reluctantly I don't like doing. I'm going to use super glue to do it, and then I will probably brace the edges with some green stuff. Right, so I've done that. Unfortunately I've pulled the magnet with it. Now we've probably pushed that one in a little, but that will be compensated for by that. And now I can essentially just mould that in where it is, and that should be spot on when we put it there. But what we'll do is we'll leave that to cure for a bit, so that the green stuff goes a bit harder, but it can still just be moved. We can force it about if we need to, and then we'll do a proper test fit, and then yeah, and then basically just leave it overnight, and then it'll be fine. But we're going to get that more secured in there now. And so there you have it, and then that will snap onto there just like that, and then snap off again. Spot on. So we'll just leave that to dry. Okay, so that is all the ones involving putty done. So they're all test fitted multiple times. Push them down nice and good. Make sure they're not going to have any gaps or anything like that. So when you put them on, they look like they're glued tight. So last one to go, which is this one. And for anyone wondering, I am using N52 5x2mm magnets. The other ones I did previously in here were 6x2s, but to be honest, this has been much easier with 5x2s, and the bond is just as strong. You know, well, obviously technically not, I guess, but it's plenty strong enough for what you need it to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to stick one of these magnets to there. We'll put some glue on top of the magnet, and then we'll put this guy on top, and then give it a minute, and then should be able to pull it apart in theory, hopefully. If not, super glue, so we'll stick it in the freezer and then snap it off if we have to. The glue will go brittle, but hopefully that won't be needed. And then once we've got that in there, we'll reinforce it with a little bit of green stuff, test fit, all that kind of gubbins, and then we're done. And then in the next video I'll show you how I magnetise the banners to go on the back, which is a much trickier exercise, but we won't be doing that for a while yet.